for another edition of Laurel's List. We always appreciate contributor and wife of John Lunceford, Laurel Lunceford, stopping by our Culver studio to give us her list of 5 to compete with John even further, as we have our tickets this weekend to Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour, which has dropped on Disney+. It is the biggest concert movie, not only of the year, but I think maybe of all time by this point. I am Tim Melton. That is John Lunceford. And Laurel is here to present her list of the 5 very best eras of Taylor Swift's career that are featured in the Eras Tour. If I'm correct about this, Laurel, there are 10 eras overall.
Correct. And there's about to be a new one added in just a few weeks because the new album is about to come out.
Now,
I don't think it's going to be considered an era, if I had to guess.
I think she might do when she does surprise songs. I think she'll add it in there. I don't think she'll restructure the tour for it. Yeah. But, I mean, if we're saying eras, I think that would be included in the new one, I guess.
I am doing this list very selfishly because I am showing my daughter this concert film at home. We didn't go out to the theater because my daughter at that time was not a Swiftie. She's going on 7 years old, and all of her friends are into Taylor Swift. At this point, who isn't? She's selling out every single place she goes, and it feels like Taylor Swift is at the peak of pop culture. And I am not a Taylor Swift fan, but I respect very much what she's accomplished. We were born in the same year, so we have that in common. That's about it. But I'm here with Laurel as a cheat code to tell me when I watch this film, which eras should I perk up for a little bit more, because all 10 eras are displayed within this concert. That is part of the hook of the Eras Tour, and it's one that ended up getting released in October at AMC Theaters. They skipped the studio system. I love the business move behind that of just giving the people directly what they want. John, when you look at the business side of this tour, it has done big business everywhere it's gone.
It has, and she's done incredible PR for it in terms of how she's treated the people on tour, how she's treated the tour itself, giving all of her truck drivers. She had 50-something truck drivers she gave, giant bonuses to. And the thing is, it's already the highest grossing tour, and it's only, as far as the money they've counted, only a third over, and it's already number 1, passing Elton John, which was the biggest tour, and he just finished. And so it still has this a full international wing to go, plus coming back to America. Everything about this has just been absolutely giant, like you mentioned, the way the movie release was done, the way this Disney Plus deal is done, and all that money's going to her.
Right, the Disney Plus deal, $75 million to secure the rights to this film to stream exclusively on Disney, because there are multiple different versions of the Eras Tour. This one is being labeled as Taylor's version, which is very important if you followed her music career, knowing her album releases and how all that drama went down. Laurel, I'm considering you a Taylor Swift expert for a couple of reasons.
Right.
You've been following the career for a long time. You saw her live. You saw the Eras Tour live and in person in Atlanta, Georgia.
Fun fact, I have seen her live on every single one of her tours.
Oh, my gosh. That gives you even more credibility.
Yes.
You also saw the Eras Tour at AMC when it came out in October. So, are you going to be streaming this at home, giving it something that you've already seen multiple times?
I already had it on this morning. John can confirm.
Okay.
I put it on as I was getting ready for this morning. But I am an OG Swiftie. Taylor and I have been through a lot of the same things throughout our 30-something years of life. Been here since 2006. I've seen her on every time that she's had a tour for each of her eras. I've been there, including John and I went to the big Eras Tour last May. But I'm so excited that your daughter is now part of the club.
And tonight will be the true make or break moment, I think. She's a big fan of the music for sure, but she's never seen Taylor Swift sort of perform.
Right.
This is going to be the first chance for that. I'm going to have certain accessories that I've got there. You guys have loaded me up with some merch from the actual Eras Tour that I'm going to be able to present to her during this, that she's going to take crayon and write all over during. I'm just kidding. She's not going to do that. She's going on 7, not 7 months. Yeah. But I'm looking for you to help me out here because I'm not very knowledgeable about the music of Taylor Swift, and I'm looking to see which 5 eras out of the 10 are the best. So let's start with number 5 on Laurel's list.
Okay, and quick, I'm just going to give one that doesn't make the list but is really good. Okay. It's Lover, and I have to say that one because that is our wedding song.
And it didn't. Hold on. And it didn't make the.
Honestly,
the list.
I kind of feel weird about the album now because I was obsessed with it when it came out. But as we know, it was written. There are so many of these love songs for who she was with at that time, and they have had a pretty bad falling out, it seems. So now I listen to it, and you listen to who you know that these songs are about, and you're like, I don't know. But
we had this conversation because Lover would be in my top 5. And the whole reason it probably been my top 5 is like, well, that's what our Lover Itself was our first dance song and all that. And she's like, yeah, but the story behind it now is just so bad and so sad. And now I get that. And I was like, but you know what my response was? But our story behind it is so great, right?
That's true.
So what didn't make the list? What didn't make the list, Lover? Okay, anyway.
I know Tyler. I know Tyler Swift is not really here, but he's producing. He just gave a big awe. Can you give it again because you were muted? Oh, that's so sweet, John. You earned some points there. This is why, Laurel, when I set up number 5, you should go with number 5 instead of number 6 because it broke John's heart a little bit. I can see it.
He's all good. He's fine.
All right, number 5. What did make the cut?
Number 5 for me is Evermore. And I would say that it was between Evermore and Folklore, and I think these are 2 asterisks because these songs sound nothing how she typically does her music.
Were they both COVID time era?
They were, and they are very different. They kind of have this cozy feel to them, but also she's created this kind of world and these characters which are not necessarily about her, which is different from a lot of her other music. She's created this whole land of these characters that are kind of intertwined with each other. Some things you can now see, maybe they weren't such a, fake world. Maybe they were some of her real world. But I love Folklore. One of my favorite songs, I don't think it's on the tour, but there's a song called Coney Island. And it kind of is like an apology to her exes. And I think it's really cool to go back and pinpoint little things that she said years ago that you can pick out in this song. You're like, oh, this is who she's talking about here. And it's just done in a really beautiful way. So I think that's her maturing and kind of taking up for some of her, maybe when she was younger, maybe it was all this person's fault. I feel like on that song, she's kind of apologizing like, maybe I was in the wrong too, but I've moved on and had this beautiful relationship.
John, do you have a favorite song from this particular era of Evermore?
Willow.
It's fine, I guess. The Folklore and Evermore would be at the bottom of my.
Like I said, it's an asterisk. It's not like her typical music.
No, I know Taylor does a lot of breakup songs, but I don't want this to be a breakup podcast. Can you guys promise me that we're going to get on the same page here soon?
It's just not my thing. I like her more pop, and that's more kind of soft, kind of somber music.
You'll love Willow in the movie. It's very witchy. I'll say that. You'll like that in the movie.
Very hocus pocusy?
Very, very much so.
Have yellow orbs that steal the souls of people from people who have said
the audience,
about the
I'm
tour.
sure. Yeah.
Does Bette Midler appear at any point?
That would be amazing, but no, not so far. Yeah.
Let's go with number 4 on Laurel's list.
Number 4 for me is Red. And I think Red is kind of when she really started getting into pop music more. She had been more country, then she segued almost straight into pop. Of course, that is going to be known for a lot of people as the Jake Gyllenhaal album, as well as there's some Harry Styles mixed in there too. But Red honestly is really the last breakup album we really got. I think she'll mention things here and there post Red, but that is actually the one that has breakup songs on there.
Does Taylor Swift get credited for writing more breakup music than she actually writes? Is she labeled
I think that's just kind of a thing that, of course, when she was dating all these people, it's like she was 18, 19 years old, I mean, I don't know how serious things could really be. So I think some people have kind of taken a lot of that and just kind of made that into a kind of a stereotype.
Well, I feel like the lore of every song is, who is this song about? Which of her ex-boyfriends is the song about? I feel like Folklore and Evermore, she got away from that and just started writing stories of I'm bored during COVID, I'm going to write some stories and then sing songs about it. Then obviously anything you write is going to come from real life experience, but that it's always because even with the Tortured Poets Department which is her new album coming out.
You know exactly who it's about now.
Well, you pretty much know exactly who it's about, but every single song, Laurel's like, well, do you think this one's going to be about Travis? Do you think this one's going to be about Joe? Do you think this is going to be about, and it's always trying to think, and it's kind of fun to try to figure it out if you're a big time Swiftie.
And she leaves little Easter eggs. There's little clues, and that's something else that you'll notice through her songwriting that she does. There are little clues that she leaves, and sometimes you're able to figure it out. Other times, I think maybe she wants to ruin a mystery, or maybe she's just kind of going along with it, and it could be whoever you really want it to be, maybe.
But it's made every song about some ex-boyfriend to where it seems like literally if she writes it, she's complaining about some boyfriend she had in the past.
But you'd consider Red to be the ultimate breakup album.
That's really the one because it has the All Too Well, which you'll see on the show tonight. It's a 10-minute version of the song. And that was the short film that she did last year, which is obviously supposed to be
it's all about your favorite Jake Gyllenhaal.
Who's the actor that actually looks quite much like him in this
Dylan O'Brien.
But that was a a big one, especially because she was so young and he was not so young. But
got it.
Yeah, but that's a 10-minute version of a good song that you'll hear tonight.
Okay, so at number 5, Evermore. Number 4, Red. We're continuing on with Laurel's List at the number 3 spot.
Number 3 for me is Speak Now, and I picture your daughter is going to love this one because this is OG kind of. That is also of her segueing into pop music. That's got You Belong With Me on it, which I think
have Love Story? Is this the Love Story one?
Love Story is
Love Story is Fearless.
Fearless.
Oh,
This one
okay.
has Mine on it, which is kind of similar. But this one, I think this was also something that's interesting about her is this one album of the year. She is the sole writer. She wrote every song on the album. So she is the only person credited, which I think that's pretty amazing for someone. She won album of the year, I think, because of that. And that was what, if you want to talk about Kanye, like Tyler was mentioning earlier, You Belong With Me is the song that she accepted the Moonman for when Kanye went up on the stage. So Dear John is one of the big songs on there, which you can only do some thinking to wonder who that is about. But Love Speak Now. That reminds me of my young college days. So that's what I think of when I hear it.
Okay, I know Taylor Swift plays guitar. I know she plays piano. Are there any other instruments that I should expect in the Eras Tour tonight that she ends up playing?
I think she can play almost anything, but I think piano
From
and
her,
guitar.
I don't think she does. She plays multiple pianos and multiple guitars and stuff, but a lot of times she'll bring her band out on stage with her, and so that's where you get the other instruments coming in.
You know those, I think it's the NPR Tiny Desk concerts
Yeah.
that are done. I think those are fantastic. I love the idea. I love the execution. I could just watch those for hours. St. Paul and the Broken Bones, by the way, fantastic on that series if you get a chance to see it. But the Taylor Swift one, that was the most impressed I've been as someone who's trying to understand the full appeal of just the musician, just what she's able to do, sort of a stripped down version with her and a piano, and what she's able to do for what was a room of people that she had completely on the hook emotionally. And it was an exciting thing to see.
Yeah.
So I'm open to trying.
Good,
I'm
good.
I'm not there
that's
yet.
all the Swifties ask for.
I'm not there yet, but I'm
Okay.
trying.
You will be after tonight. Don't
I'm
worry.
not a Kansas City Chiefs fan either, so that doesn't help me at all. I find them to
We're
be...
now big Kansas City Chiefs fans. I was stressed at that Super Bowl.
I am a fan of 20 different teams, and the Chiefs are not one of them.
Was I stressed out during the game?
My wife went to Auburn. I went to Alabama. We watched multiple Iron Bowls. She gets a little stressed out, especially when they're about to win and Alabama pulls out some crazy play and wins. I have never seen her that way for anything Auburn in my life. And she didn't know who the Chiefs were until this year with Travis
I knew who
Kelce.
the Chiefs were. Okay.
I'm starting to believe you two are very different. Okay, let's go to
Opposites attract.
number 2 on Laurel's list. What era are we getting to next? This would be the runner-up at the top spot.
1989. This is kind of the album I feel like started her real into superstardom. I mean, everyone knows Style, Blank Space, Shake It Off. Those are like the Bad Blood. And I think this is a really entertaining segment of the Eras Tour because those songs are so well known.
Am I wrong that this was also some of her most popular music videos of all time? I mean, there was just banger after banger.
And, Blank Space is supposed to be kind of poking fun, and it is. And the video is brilliant, too, about poking fun at this image that all she does is date and all she does is sing about these boys. And this is, a lot of people say, is the Harry Styles album. And I don't think she says anything really negative about him, though. I think they're all pretty positive. I think they're on good terms. But, of course, when you hear Style, that's kind of who you think about. But I think she kind of got away, like I said, from the breakup songs. And this kind of put her into the superstar that she is now.
John, I know you said Evermore wouldn't make your list. Would Red Speak Now in 1989 make Lunce's list if you were to do this yourself?
So 1989, I have done this list, and 1989 is my number 1 on my list because this is when I knew Taylor Swift with Red. That's kind of when I feel like she kind of started hitting more mainstream with Red. But then 1989 is when it put her over with almost everybody because when Shake It Off came out, that music video came out, everybody kind of got into it at that point. And then Blank Space was big. Bad Blood, especially when she did it with Kendrick Lamar, that pushed it to another audience as well. She got a lot of celebrities involved in that video and everything to where it was like, okay, Taylor Swift is like the thing now. And then she has just kind of carried it on from there.
All right, it is now that time to get to number 1 on Laurel's list. I got to make sure I get that right.
It's still Lunce's
It
list.
is
Laurel
technically
Lunceford's list.
Yeah,
Laurel
there we go.
Lunceford's list. The number 1 spot after number 5 Evermore, number 4 Red, number 3 Speak Now, number 2 1999. Here we go, the big unveiling.
Reputation.
Oh, Okay.
My favorite. And I think it is the most entertaining portion of the tour as well. I think that is the part that gets everyone on their feet, everyone into it. And for Reputation, that is for the OGs that stuck it out with her when everyone was trying to cancel her because of Kanye and the Kardashians. And everyone said, she's done, she's through. And we were like, no, she's not. And
she had an attitude about it.
And she did. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. So I think, and it's really funny to look back on now and look at them and look at her.
This is the attitude era of Taylor Swift.
This is if she's going to have brass knucks in one of these eras, it's going to be that era.
Yes, absolutely.
Would this be the era that someone like Tyler, who doesn't sample a lot of Taylor Swift either, would be the most intrigued by?
It's probably the most new age pop, I kind of feel like, of what you would see from name any other pop star minus Taylor Swift, what their songs would sound like. Kind of what Olivia Rodrigo sounds like now, because Olivia Rodrigo is very angry in her music, and this is very angry in her music.
What's really kind of beautiful about this, though, if you really, and like I was saying about Lover, comparing this album and Lover, Reputation is the love album. Like, if you want to talk about her ex, Joe Alwyn, this is about them falling in love, about her being at her lowest point, and she has found this person that even though, you know, her reputation is in the garbage, that this person has, like, loves her completely. And you hear it through the lyrics, like, about them falling in love. And then you kind of listen to Lover, and she's so in love with this person, but it's like this desperate, like, please don't ever leave me. I don't know what I'm going to do if you ever leave me. Whereas opposed to Reputation, you have this happy and this kind of carefree on this new love that she has.
It's like Red, we talk about breakup. I mean, we're never, ever, ever getting back together. It's literally a song from that we all know. But, like, then 1989 kind of comes, and it's like, still like, I'm breaking up with you, whatever. But then Reputation is like, you know what? I'm going to be who I want to be. You need to deal with it or not. And at that point, it's like, you are kind of happy when you're just like, I'm just going to be me. And then when she gets to Lover, it's like, oh, I'm so in love, I'll do whatever you want to do. And then now knowing the story behind that, I get why Laurel's saying what she says about Lover. Getting the story behind that, it's like, boy, you should have been more Reputation if you just need to be who you want to be. Because now I feel like she is kind of that way, and she's going to let it fly in this next album, sounds like. 2
quick questions. If you had to put a number 10, something in the number 10 spot for Taylor Swift, did you have that mapped out to where this would be last on your list?
I would probably just say Debut, because I'm not a big, there's several songs. I think Tim McGraw is great. I think our song is very sweet. Picture to Burn, those are the ones that I like those songs. They're in my playlist.
But her Nashville era would be.
But and she's so young there that I think that lyrics just really wouldn't, hit with me, I guess, nowadays. But, I mean, they're all good.
Second question. Good. Is there a Tom Hiddleston breakup song?
There is.
There is?
There is. It's called Getaway Car.
You haven't mentioned this yet, have you?
So they had, and, I think they kind of had a summer fling. Mm-hmm. I think she was kind of talking to Joe, who would eventually become her boyfriend of almost 7 years. I think she really wanted to get married, which I think we'll hear about in a few weeks. But, we'll let Taylor talk.
What does that mean? Is that a tease?
I mean, if you're with someone for 7 years, would you not expect a ring?
I got it.
But it's called Getaway Car.
It's a tease.
You call a Getaway Car. That is after she had a relationship with Calvin Harris for probably a year or two. And this is very dramatic, she met Tom Hiddleston at the Met Gala, as well as Joe Alwyn, who she ended up dating.
Gosh.
And so there was a lot of things that transpired, but Getaway, and he has a very nice one. I think she kept on good. I think she broke up with him. I think he was kind of devastated. I think he was very interested in her, and I think she was interested in someone else at that point. So... But, hey,
very dramatic.
Tom Hiddleston turned out okay. He's married to a girl from Marvels.
That the worst movie ever performing, even though look, he's very good. But it's on Reputation, so it technically is on her one spot.
All right, really quickly here, the 4 exclusive songs for the Disney Plus release: Maroon, I Can See You, You Are in Love, Death by a Thousand Cuts. What's the best one of those 4?
I like Maroon.
Death by a Thousand Cuts.
See, you guys are just so different, but I appreciate that. Hey, where did this come from? Did this come from the actual Eras tour?
It did.
Awesome. Very cool. We are going to use this tonight as a prop for our watching of it on Disney Plus. Are you planning on watching it on Disney Plus, or have you been
Probably just have it on. Oh, I thought you were talking to me.
No, I am always talking to you.
Laurel's already watched it.
That's
I
what I'm
literally
saying.
was getting out of the shower this morning, and I'm like, she's already watching it.
No. I was going to ask the audience, have you already watched the Eras Tour on Disney Plus? Have you been streaming it nonstop? Let us know in the comments section below, and let us know what your favorite era is. Laurel, I appreciate this so much. Thank you for making it special for my daughter and recruiting her as a Swiftie, and I hope it's a good time, and I really appreciate you putting this list together.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We'll have another Laurel's list, I promise you that, in the weeks to come. John, there's a lot of things that can be done this weekend at MyBookie.
You can go bet on some, if you don't want to watch the Eras Tour, you can go watch some basketball, conference championships coming up, March Madness coming up. Go ahead and get ready for that with our friends at MyBookie.ag. Use promo code NEXTROUND, bet anything, anytime, anywhere at MyBookie.
All right, there we have it. Make sure you're subscribed to The Meltdown for all the latest in pop culture and entertainment news right here with a live show daily, 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern.